Hi, all of you wonderful scuba divers out there. Welcome to the Scuba Diving Magazine podcast, where I break down the latest scuba diving news and things that have piqued my personal interest over the previous week. This week on the podcast, a diver has died in a cave in the Swiss canton of Ticino, with recovery of his body now presenting a challenge to expert rescuers. A blind BBC journalist and a paraplegic amputee, both from Lancashire, are hoping to have an hour-long Red Sea dive to a maximum depth of 40 meters carried out as a buddy pair recognised by Guinness World Records. After 5 years of work, England's biggest seagrass restoration project has come to a close, with its results being described as incredibly promising for the future. Leading liveaboard holiday companies Emperor Divers and Solomon Islands-based Billy Kiki Cruises have joined forces, and a last-minute reprieve for half of the Shipwreck Treasures that had looked set to be dispersed into private collectors at an auction in Cornwall has been provided by UK charity the Maritime Archaeology Sea Trust. So the first story: after failing to return from a planned dive on the 2nd of November, a diver was found at a depth of 40 meters, some 200 meters in from a cave entrance in Switzerland. The cave lies in the Blenio Valley near the source of the Breno River. Ticino Cantonal Police announced the fatality on the 4th of November and said that the diver had entered the cave in late morning 2 days previously, with his failure to return reported at around 2:30 in the afternoon. The police requested specialist assistance from Swiss Speleological Rescue Service divers, who were flown to the site by helicopter by the country's Air Rescue Service, REGA. The diver's body was located around 7:30 in the evening. The task of actually bringing the body out began the day after its discovery, but was described by police as being, quote, particularly complex and technically demanding, and as such liable to take several days and numerous dives by expert cave divers. The recovery operation was complicated by the narrowness of the passages, the configuration of the cave, and the poor visibility underwater. Formal identification of the diver has not yet proved possible, according to the police. Ticino is Switzerland's southernmost canton and lies mainly south of the Alps. Its diver attractions are usually associated with the clarity of its waters for river and lake diving, but yeah, there's also some cave diving. Now, after the Thai cave rescue a few years back, everyone's much more aware of underwater cave rescues and how complicated and intricate it can be. And a similar issue occurs when someone does die whilst cave diving, and having to extricate their body is tough. And it's not just a matter of they grab them by the hand and they pull them out. A lot of the time they have to put them into some kind of body bag to be able to transport them more easily. But if you think that the cave diving itself is very demanding, and both technically, physically, mentally, and everything, it is a hard discipline. And now you've got to try and work out the logistics of bringing all the extra equipment, the body bag and everything that you need to take down with you, and do that work whilst you're at the maximum depth. Is 40 meters, 200 meters into a cave system. Recover the body and then extricate it. It is a lot to work out, and that's why they're saying it's not just going to be a hey, we'll go in, we'll make this dive and double back. It's a matter of, okay, we're going to do this systematically. Dive 1 is going to be this. The preliminary dive was to locate the body. They've done that, and then next dive we're going to set up the equipment, we're going to set up this, and then we're going to slowly work your way back out. So hopefully in the next few days we'll get some positive news that the body has been recovered and it can be identified. Onto some more positive news, talking about a pair of disabled divers working on a world record attempt. Friends Mohammed Salim Patel from Blackburn, who has been blind since his mid-teens, and Sean Gash, a disabilities campaigner from Morecambe, paralysed from the chest down in a car accident at the age of 20, both took up scuba diving together only this spring, and they've been working towards their record-setting attempt throughout the year, reckoning that between them they'd have the strength and the vision required to complete the dive. Quoting Gash, You've got somebody with legs that are powering away and someone with arms that are powering away, and together we're like V6 engines. Their early cold water training challenges in Lancashire were recorded in what is now an award-winning documentary strand on the BBC One news documentary BBC Northwest Tonight. They have completed their joint dive in the warmer waters of Sid in Dahab in the Red Sea in late September. They weren't going to do it in a chilly lake in the UK. It was guided by a team led by Egyptian instructor Mohammed Curly Mokhtar El Azab, who works for MAD, or the Morecambe Area Divers Dive School, and had trained the pair from the start. Quoting, "My main thing is honestly not the record. My main thing is seeing their faces after each dive." The dive formed part of one of the school's regular trips to the Red Sea. In the lead up, the duo were said to have, quote, absolutely smashed it on intense boat dives from Sharm el Sheikh, including the Thistlegorm, as well as Dahab's canyon and cave sites. For the record bid, they spent an hour in the water and reached a maximum depth of 40 meters. But now, of course, they have to await the verification of their record claim from Guinness World Records because they don't have an adjudicator down there in a suit and a clipboard whilst they're actually on the dive. So it's the thing, you have to send them the footage. But yeah, it's cool to see these two like working together, like symbiotically. One has use of his legs, the other use of his arms. They kind of hold each other, one in the front, one at the back. And the one at the back, who I presume has vision, is like almost steering his buddy by holding onto the back of his head and holding onto his BCD, so they're staying together. And it is nice that despite their disabilities, they're still managing to go scuba diving. And I saw someone once years ago. I think that was also in the Red Sea. And similar kind of setup. It was the sister was a dive instructor, and her sister was blind, but still wanted to go on a scuba dive. Even though you can't see anything, you still kind of experience it. Just that like weightless buoyancy and just the experience of being underwater. And it's nice. And there's a lot of like physiotherapy that has a positive effect on divers. So I'm all for this. England's biggest seagrass restoration project has come to a close with very positive results. This is a £2.5 million life recreation remedies initiative led by Natural England and spearheaded by the Ocean Conservation Trust, tackling the restoration of more than 8 hectares of seagrass beds in Plymouth Sound Special Area of Conservation and the Solent Maritime Special Area of Conservation. The project, which also included protection of the hard pink coralline algae called merle, involved tackling pressures on natural habitats such as recreational anchoring and mooring, and educational outreach, along with trials of several seagrass restoration methods. So they're trying to work out what's best and what to limit to promote seagrass and coral growth. A headline achievement was the boosting of seagrass seedling germination success rates from just 5% to 33%, a result the team says promises to transform restoration efforts worldwide. Early regrowth is already said to be visible at both project sites, so they're learning more and they're seeing very positive results. Remedies, which stands for Reducing and Mitigating Erosion and Disturbance Impacts Affecting the Seabed, was founded by the EU LIFE programme and also involved the Marine Conservation Society, the RYA and Plymouth City Council, Tamar Estuaries Consultative Forum. The OCT says that the project gave the opportunity to restore the Zostera marina seagrass species using 2 trial methods. The first of these, which was seed broadcasting, involved both deploying hessian bags containing seeds and over a equal area using an innovative injection device called a hydromarine seeding octopus. The second method, seedling translocation, meant growing adult plants from seeds using seagrass mat technology in a laboratory at the National Marine Aquarium, which is run by the OCT, and then the plants are transported and deployed at the restoration site. So it's a matter of trying to work out which is better, to basically plant the seeds in the water in situ, or to grow them in a lab and then transport them and try and bed them where you need them. As a result of these experiments, their habitat restoration team now believes that the best way to achieve subtidal seagrass restoration could be through a combination of the two, basically. Combining both the HMS and the seagrass mat technology. Preliminary results are said to be showing some regeneration of the seagrass beds, with which the team will continue to monitor. Quoting, "Seagrass restoration is not without its challenges, but despite this, the Remedies project has pushed boundaries in developing large-scale subtidal seagrass restoration." That's according to Mark Parry, the OCT's head of ocean habitat restoration. "It's been great trialing innovative restoration techniques and seeing the success of our efforts in both Jenny Cliff Bay and Solent Maritime. We're excited to continue our learning and development of large-scale restoration efforts in our Blue Meadows project." So because of this research and trial, they can start rolling this out and recommending similar projects working using specific methods. This worked for us. It might be worth trying this. So it's positive news, and we can get our seagrass beds back. Leading liveaboard holiday companies Emperor Divers and Solomon Island-based Billy Kiki Cruises have joined forces. The arrangement will see Emperor promote its new partner to a more global audience using its large customer base and strong market reputation, as well as incorporating some of the operational and development work. Billy Kiki is a long-established and highly regarded company that has delivered wonderful diving experiences to their guests in the Solomon Islands since the 1980s. As one of the only companies to operate in this region, they are undoubtedly experts in providing top-quality holidays to their guests in that part of the world. And Emperor's history dates back to the early 1990s when they began running dive centers in Egypt, but they now have a fleet of liveaboards in the Red Sea, Indonesia, and the Maldives, and this new partnership will be an ideal marriage for the two of them, with both companies sharing similar philosophies. Emperor Diver CEO Alex Byron said, "We are very pleased to welcome Billy Kiki to the Emperor family. Our organizations are well matched as both have a very loyal client base and are renowned for providing excellent customer services. By joining forces, we feel we can help further progress the hugely popular Billy Kiki product and also introduce our established guests to a new area in which to dive. It is a very exciting arrangement for us. We are well established in our 3 current destinations, but this new arrangement gives us a great chance to develop, to explore the Solomon Islands and take in some new diving experiences." If you've been diving with Billy Kiki before, I don't think much is going to change other than they're going to get that added boost of the advertising from Emperor, and vice versa. If you've been diving with Emperor and you've been getting a little bit stale because you've done all of their itineraries, maybe all of them, but some of them, and you've been looking for something a little bit different, then you've got these Solomon Islands. An interesting pairing and a growth for the liveaboard community for Emperor Divers. Good news for some of the Shipwreck Treasures that were at a museum that was kind of touch and go. It was planned for a lot of them to just go to auction as the museum was closing, but it seems that UK charity, the Maritime Archaeology Sea Trust, is going to take care of them. Sir Tim Smith's sale of some 7,000 exhibits from the Charleston Shipwreck Treasure Museum in St. Austell had upset wreck divers, among others, with the prospect of the artifacts that had been recovered declared to the receiver of the wreck and often donated as items of national heritage passing out of sight into private hands for profit. Historic England had identified the collection as the largest and most important set of artifacts from shipwrecks in the United Kingdom, and the Maritime Archaeology Sea Trust, or MAST, has now finalised a deal to save 514 of the items. All are related to protected or scheduled wrecks and a number of other key sites, and represents about 50% of the Charleston collection of shipwreck artifacts. Included are items from Royal Navy warships such as the HMS Ramillies and the HMS Association, as well as English and Dutch East India Company shipwrecks. The wider sale of other museum exhibits is going ahead as planned on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Mast has bought the items outright and plans to conduct a full conservation assessment once it's moved them to its archaeological centre in Poole. Because they now belong to a charity, they can no longer be sold on. The Trust says it is planning local and national opportunities to display the reprieved artefacts with museums around the country, supported by the National Museum of the Royal Navy and Chatham Historic Dockyard Trust. Now, the auction is actually live as of recording, so if you're listening to this like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then it's too late, I'm afraid. But yeah, full details of the lots in the Penzance and online auction can be found on the Lays Auctioneers site. There are quite a few interesting things going up. I think there was at least one old-fashioned dive knife. It was a range of stuff. There was old-fashioned like brass helmets, like a 12-bolt brass helmet, but there was also like a Kirby Morgan band mask. So yeah, a little bit of most of it was like nautical stuff from actual ships. Hey everyone, actually, whilst I was editing the podcast together, it seems there's been 2 liveaboard fires, the Noran at Daedalus and Blue Voyager in the Maldives. The first one, the motor yacht Noran, burnt down in front of Daedalus yesterday. After the fire outbreak, a clean evacuation of the ship was probably... The statement actually says probably carried out. I'd like to think they meant properly carried out, but I'm just quoting what I'm reading. Despite fighting the fire could not be controlled. The ship burned completely out. The guests are currently on their way to Hurghada. The crew is doing well. And there's a statement about the Blue Voyager, quoting, during a maintenance break in Hull Himalaya in the early hours of the 7th of November, a fire broke out on Blue Voyager. At the current time, we are still dealing with the event in real time and so cannot currently comment further on the incident. There were no guests on board at the time, and after attempting to control the fire, all crew evacuated the boat safely. We are already evaluating the issues created by the fire on upcoming trips. Guests who are likely to be affected will be contacted in due course. We are relieved that this incident was not more serious and that everyone who was on board is safe. So yeah, Blue Voyager is operated by Master Liveaboards and was formerly branded as a Blue O2 vessel. But yeah, two more liveaboard fires. For more up-to-date news, you'll have to head over to our website. Yeah, that's all I have at the moment. No new dive equipment, nothing that I saw. I think a lot of people are going to be like waiting for like Black Friday deals, because as soon as November hits, it's not just one day that we have Black Friday anymore. It's like weeks or the entire month. Some retailers. So yeah, get ready to see a lot of like free Octo deals, free transmitter deals, and just discounted stuff as they're trying to get a shot of some of their older stock. So yeah, this time of year is quite a good time to invest in stuff. So it is definitely worth just holding out and shopping around. But onto some Ask Mark questions. Nate Mayer, UB2FX, says, should I keep my regulators consistent or mix it up? My current regulator set is for doubles, Dive Right XT1s and XT4s, with more regulators of the same type for my stages and have not had issues. I'm thinking of getting a true single tank recreational regulator so I don't need to rebuild between dives, stay the course or mix it up. I mean, I quite often use my like twin set regulators as single cylinder regulators. It's just you change the hose setup. I mean, if it's in your budget, then yeah, by all means have like a regulator set for singles and then a separate pair for twins. Just bear in mind that yeah, you're gonna have to service them, or service that extra regulator. So it's up to you really. Personally, I don't mind just swapping some hoses around. I know what I'm doing. I know I'm not going to strip any threads or damage anything, and the service cost is a little bit less. So yeah, I'd go more down that route. And Anson Ryan Smith says, what brand of bolt nut do you prefer, and how do you maintain them for smooth operation? I have some, and even with proper rinsing, they lose their smooth operation over time. Yeah, I really like the X Deep ones. They just every little aspect they've just improved. They've looked at the overall like bolt snap design, and it's nice when you see other manufacturers copy your design. It means that you're doing something right. They are quite pricey compared to like more unbranded ones, but yeah, just stainless steel. And just a drop of olive oil from time to time in that piston, and just work that action, and that's it really. Yeah, definitely wash them. Make sure they're dry. It's all that like salt builds up on the inside, and then yeah, a drop of olive oil from time to time. It just gets in there. I mean, you can use something like WD-40 because it penetrates. It's made for penetrating, and yeah, that's really all I ever do. And yeah, just make sure that they're dry between the dives. Seymour Overland 6739. Is there a wetsuit that doesn't make me look like a fat seal or a walrus? Some do have some detailing, like either by the stitching of the panel work, or actual like detailing on the chest panels. So Fourth Element comes to mind. They, especially with their not Zeroth, what's it called, Xenos wetsuit, the like the more affordable wetsuit that they brought out a few years back, that has this little these like dot details on the chest, and then as you get down to the abdomen, there's actual like detailing lines, as if it doesn't have like proper six packs, but at a distance it kind of gives you that effect. So yeah, there are like wetsuit details that do like help with that, and a lot of the manufacturers are aware of this, so they do create that kind of detailing. But hey, embrace it, man. Seals and walruses are great sea creatures, and I'm quite happy to emulate a majestic sea creature like that. Robert Van Arkel 6219, is there a low battery alarm transmitted from the AI sender to your computer? That's quite rare. Most transmitters, they only, I mean, that's the reason why a lot of them have a light on the end of them to let you know that it is like that it's not functioning, and you're not just like trying to work out whether it's a communication error or what. It's just that, oh hey, the light's not blinking, it's either run out of battery or it's flooded. There probably is a transmitter out there that does transmit its battery level, like an emergency, like at the end, oh I'm running low, but I don't think I've ever seen a low battery warning for your transmitter. It's usually just after so many hours or so many dives, just change the battery. They're pretty cheap, but no, I don't think there is one, and if there is, it's pretty rare. I mean, have a look around, but don't be surprised if you don't see that feature. Dan Tan 1727, how about Ulex 2mm? How is that compared to usual neoprene in terms of buoyancy? Ulex is typically, most people find it a bit more buoyant, and I don't know whether that's a bit of like the neoprene itself or like neoprene alternative Ulex, which is a plant-based neoprene instead of like petroleum or limestone based. Whether it is just naturally more buoyant or whether people are replacing their old suits with a fresh suit, and because their old suit had compressed and lost its buoyancy over the years, now they're switching to a brand new suit which is actually like 5 mil, that they suddenly go, oh, I need all this extra lead weight to get this wetsuit down. It may just be that your previous one had compressed so much that it had lost all of its buoyancy. Or yeah, whether it is just a little bit more buoyant. 2 mil though is relatively thin. If you'd have asked about like a 5 mil, then yeah, you probably do need a few extra kilos. A 2 mil, you might need some extra lead. That's what weight checks are for, just to double check. So, but yeah, I think I've read online. It's hard because I don't bring like spares so that I can just let me dive my my old 5 mil, see how much, do a weight check there, get out, put on a different wetsuit, get back in the water and do another weight check to test it. But yeah, as far as I've seen, other people do like long-term tests with it, because bear in mind I don't get to keep most of the stuff that I do videos on. I do have to send most of them back. I think most of them say that Ulex tends to be a bit more buoyant, but find out. Let me know. And if anyone has any like Ulex and does like know the direct comparison, then yeah, by all means let us know down in the comments below. And that's it for another week. So thank you very much for listening, everybody. We're coming up for Demon Week in a week or two, so video production might be a little patchy going forwards because I'm going to have to fly out to the States. So yeah, if I do miss any videos, I do apologize. I'm going to try and create enough content to run over so it's seamless. But don't be surprised if you miss a podcast or two. Because I probably won't have my this microphone with me and like editing software and stuff. But yeah, thank you very much for listening, everybody. I'll pop links to what I've spoken about today down in the description underneath this podcast. Remember to head over to our website. Thank you for listening, everybody, and of course, safe diving.